Going.
So Trevor, wanted to thank you again for coming in today. I know that your wife can't be here today, but are you comfortable with running through this?
Definitely.
Awesome, yeah. So, and like I mentioned the last time, we hit on the fact that life insurance is a big deal for y'all. There's three ways we can go about it. There's the general rule of thumb, which is 15 times income. There's a software we have where we can put in the data and it can spit out a number. And there's what I would recommend personally, what we call the life insurance needs analysis. And it's where we walk through the hard numbers with you and also for your wife and just see what it comes out to in terms of what the total need for life insurance is. That's the one I would recommend. What would you like to do?
Let's do that needs analysis. That's
Okay.
Interesting.
Perfect. So, Trevor, what's your current income look like?
Currently, I make $90,000 a year.
90,000 a year. Gotcha. And for Susan, what does her income look like?
She's probably making 70.
70. Okay. So typically, what we recommend in terms of what the family income goal would be 70 to 80% of that total income if one of you were to pass away. Do you want to go on the 80% or more towards the 70%?
Let's have a little bit more. Let's go
Okay.
80%.
Gotcha. So currently you guys are making 90,000 plus 70,000, 160. So it would be around, we'll call it 125,000.
That works for me.
Okay, perfect. And for other income, what are your thoughts on Social Security? Typically, I like to use around 10,000, but what are your expectations?
Why 10,000?
Well, based off of your income as well as Susan's income, that's likely what you can expect to pull when you take Social Security. But I know that's a long way off. What
If
do you?
we even get it.
Yeah. What do you think on Social
Why don't
Security?
we forget about it for now?
Okay, gotcha. So survivor income. So based off of what we did here, the income shortage for yourself that you would need to replace would be 55,000, and for Susan, it would be 35,000. Now, in the event that one of y'all passes, let's say you pass away, Susan's going to come in and hand me a check, and what my job is going to be is to make that check be able to spin off 5% for the foreseeable future. The reason I say 5% is because we can safely assume we're going to be earning 8% and take out the cost of inflation, which has typically been around 3%. If we can make that money earn 5% every year, Susan will be able to live comfortably and continue on going about her life and
Okay.
taking care of the kids. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
5%? Okay.
Yeah.
So based off of that, there's a couple other things we need to dive into before we can get the final number. As far as final expenses, typically what we see there is around 10,000, but every individual case is different. What do you expect final expenses to be if one of y'all pass away?
Yeah, if you're saying 10,000, that sounds good.
Okay. And I know we briefly discussed you guys' emergency fund last time we spoke. What does that look like today? I know we spoke.
You know, I probably want to give them about another 10,000 just to I'm sure in the next, if something were to happen to one of us, it would be a tough time, so just to help us through the next month or two.
Okay, so we'll do 10,000 there. And I know you got the two little tykes running around. What do you want to do in terms of education funds? How much do you want to be able to set aside for that in the event of one of y'all passing?
I'd say for either one of us, probably 100,000.
100,000. Okay. And I know you had mentioned a mortgage last time we spoke. Do you want to have that paid off? What are
I'm
your thoughts
expecting
there?
that to be paid off the next
Okay.
5 years.
So, what would
so
you come
I wouldn't want to put anything.
Okay, gotcha. Is there any other debt floating around out there that we haven't been already covered on that you would like to have paid off with this life insurance?
No, I don't believe
Okay.
so.
So, and obviously, are there any other expenses you want covered in the event of your passing or Susan's passing?
Well, if Susan's not here, let's say I might want to buy a nice little car for myself to get over her. So let's put another 50,000 on her side.
Okay, gotcha. And anything on your side you think she might want to buy some purses or anything?
You know, let's give her 20.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't want her to go through the roof if I do pass. I want her to be a little bit sad.
So 100. 40,000 is the total cash needs in the event of your passing, and for her, it's going to be, with the car in place, it'll be 170,000. So I know you guys have mentioned you have some retirement accounts as well. What are your thoughts on gutting retirement accounts in the event of a passing?
Well, we're both listed on the beneficiaries of one another, so it
Okay.
would just go straight to us.
Yeah, so you guys want to leave that intact, or would you be okay spending some of those assets to bridge the gap between final expenses and everything?
I think we have
Yes.
enough with planning with the other fund, with the
Okay,
with the final expenses and just having
Yeah.
some extra funds around.
so you want to leave liquid assets alone?
Yeah, I don't really want it. I'd rather her be able to use that if I pass for retirement purposes.
Okay.
That's really the goal of that money.
Gotcha. And what about existing life insurance?
Through work, I get my salary times time and a half,
Okay, so about
135,000.
135,000. And what about for Susan?
She gets the same thing, salary and a half. So
So that'd be 105,000. Okay. So what I came out to for you, Trevor, we're gonna need about $1.1 million in coverage, and
Wow.
for Susan, it's gonna be around about 750,000. What are your thoughts on those numbers? Too big or?
I didn't know we were worth that much.
Yeah, and we can walk back through it. Really, I know it seems like a lot, but remember, when we're looking at coverage, we're trying to create enough capital to produce income for 15 years out. We can shorten that up, we can extend it. What are your thoughts there?
Well, you're the professional. I trust you.
Okay, yeah, so typically what we would say is 15 years out is what we want to see for our clients. And with that being said, I think that this is a great starting point for coverage. On that note, what's the budget look like for the insurance?
We probably have a couple $100 a month.
A couple $100 a month. So does that look like 300, more like 500?
Probably something in that range, just depending.
Okay, so played at a comfortable 400 a month for both of y'all. If we come back and say, hey, look, it's going to be more along the lines of 500 a month, are you guys comfortable with that?
We might want to maybe look at some other options, but yeah.
Okay, so we'll stick to the 400. With that being said, what do you know about the different types of life insurance?
I didn't know there were.
Okay, so when we're trying to make this work for your budget, we'll definitely hit on the different types of life insurance because we might use a combination of policies to make it fit into your budget. Okay.
Okay, cool. Awesome.